sort of settling down or something.
Are you ready?
She lost her ability to think clear. She lost her ability.
Morning, Josh.
I've never really had the ability to think clear. Oh, see? I'll take it.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Before we go into session, I'm going to ask Richard Hallman to come up and open us up with prayer. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, folks. Good to be here today. Good to see you. Well, Father, we thank you for this time and this opportunity as we tend to those things that you have placed before us. And I just pray for the understanding and discernment, Father, as we make decisions this day that honor you in all things. So just be with those who are here and their families, the things they're involved in, Father, that we be the face of Christ wherever we are. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Let's call this meeting to order by saying the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. First order of business is approval of minutes.
Approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is approval of bills and approval of bills, excuse me.
Make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is our treasurer's report. Miss Amanda, please come up and give us some good news.
Good morning. I don't know how good my news is, but good morning.
I tried.
You do have a list of budget transfers in your folders on your iPads that we need to get approved.
Make a motion to accept the budget transfers, $47,722.11. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions or discussion on this? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I do have 4 cash transfers this morning. We need to transfer $650,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the Road Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Paying the paving bills, is that what's so high?
The majority of it is your paving bill.
I saw the Scotty's bill, so that.
Mm-hmm.
That's 400.
If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
We need to transfer $170,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the Jail Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
We need to transfer $20,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the LGEA fund.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And we need to transfer $35,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the 911 fund.
That won't be ongoing. That's because they're hiring new. Is that what that is?
911?
Yeah.
We do have budgeted transfers that get made into the 911 fund throughout the year.
So moved.
Okay. I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
And that's all I have for you this morning.
Thank you. Next up is road work request. Kelly had a DOT physical he had to attend to. So District 1.
District 1, continue maintenance.
District 2.
Need limbs trimmed back on Spring Valley Road, Garrison Road, at Dot Bridge. A lot of the big farmers are not able to get their combines and stuff through because of the overgrowth of trees. But other than that, everything's great.
District 3.
Continue maintenance.
Thank you.
District 4.
On Lewisburg Edwards Road by Paul David Keys, there's a dip in the road, and it's getting worse and worse. And I was going to see if we might be able to put some cold patch in it to kind of level it up. And then Center Road, I'd like to have a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit sign put on it. And then on Sharp Garden, just the next chance that the guys are available to go out there and mow trim. It's starting to get kind of bushy. Other than that, continue maintenance, and we appreciate all the road department does.
Pretty sure they're headed that way sometime in next week or so. Anyway, they're out in that area. District 5.
Yes. We've got 2 broken tiles, one on Tommy Barnett Road and one on Auburn Richelieu Road. And it's causing the road to cave in those areas. And we just need whatever's necessary to fix those, please.
Did you say Auburn Richelieu?
Auburn Richelieu,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
and on Tommy Barnett Road. We also have where they're Momax.
Right.
Becoming familiar with these. The Momax apparently threw a large enough piece of wood that it damaged a house.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will take the precaution. I think to see Joe.
I'm taking care of it right now.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know how I was supposed to proceed on that.
Yeah, I went out and visited with that person, took pictures of it, and yeah, I'll take care of
Oh,
it
you
for you.
didn't have to do that, but thank you very
Well,
much, Judge.
You're welcome. But I felt it
Trying.
was. I felt it was.
Okay.
District 6.
Continue maintenance on all roads. Thanks for the great job.
They do a pretty outstanding job. All right, we've heard the road work request. I need a motion and a second on it.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is our elected officials. Let's start with Sheriff Stratton.
I don't have anything today.
Nothing?
Make it easy.
It is. It
We'll
is.
start next month.
Our clerk, I don't think anybody's here from the clerk's office. I talked to her. I don't think she had anything anyway. Jailer Toomey, come on down.
Price is right.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Just
sir.
give you the counts as of this morning, and then I'm going to let some other people introduce themselves and some things that we're that we've got going and some things that we've got planned in the future, to give you a little presentation of those plans. But as of this morning, our total count was 188, 75 state and 113 county inmates, as far as our numbers. And then let me introduce Ms. Pam Fuller, our programs director. Have Ms. Fuller just give you a little overview of the classes and some of the education that we offer currently, and then introduce you to some other ladies that of some plans that's in the works that's starting in the very near future.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know some of you I don't.
Pam Fuller.
Pam Fuller. I've been around for a while. I've been with the jail 14 years this week. So I got an
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For your service.
I've got a handout here. I'm going to give each one of you, if you'll just pass it down. This just gives you some information about our programs that we have at the jail. As you see, we have several programs, and I'd like to state that for us to be a small jail that we probably have as many programs as some of our bigger facilities, such as up around Lexington. We're close to it. We offer a lot that a lot of the jails don't offer. These programs give these young people an opportunity to see where they've made mistakes and how they can correct them. It gives them the tools so that we can rehabilitate them and get them back into society. Go back to where I come from. I have a background in education. I started here 14 years ago, and it was just a summer job. I was going to work at the front desk during school 14 years ago, and I'm still here. I'm here for a reason. I'm here because I believe in this program. Excuse me, I get emotional.
And that shows a lot.
But Jailer Toomey asked me to come up here and speak to you, and I started this program. I say I started it. We shut down with the COVID. COVID just shut us down completely. We had to rebuild our program back up again. A lot of our inmates, were early release, so we've started up. Since then, we have not only, we had 5 programs at that time, now we have 7 MRT programs that we're giving to them. So we're not only back up where we were, we're doing better than we did before. If you look at this program that I've given you, it shows that if they take all of these classes, they get 570 days off or 43 months off of their sentence. That's a big initiative for them to take these classes and to learn to stay out of it. But also, not only do they get something out of it, we get something out of it. We get revenue. For every 90-day program that they complete, we get $1,000.
Per inmate?
Per a class.
Really?
Yes. If they complete a 90-day program, we get $600. So I just kind of wanted you to know that not only are we doing something for them, but it's doing something for our county as well. And this gives you an example. This is just this past month of how much money that we actually, I'm sorry, I should have handed these out before. This just shows for last May, and just with 6 inmates, we brought in $7,000.
Does this come from the state?
Yes.
Sure.
It's called Earn Good Time that we get, and then they also get, like, I think it's 63 cents a day for attending these classes. So they also get, not only do they get their time off of their sentence, but they get some money that they can use for their canteen and so forth. If you notice, it says that we offer 5 MRT programs, and we have certification for 2 more that we're just not offering right now. One of them has to do with SAP. They have to complete SAP program. We do not have in-house SAP, so we don't have that one. Another program that we have is a trauma class. We don't do that. We're limited on the space and how many hours we can do this. And we've just recently hired Ms. Holloway, who's helping me out. That's a big help because I was trying to do this all by myself. And we've just hired her on in the last month, I think, month and a half, something like that. On top of that, let's see, we have our adult education classes. They're provided to us by the Adult Learning Center here in Russellville. We not only have that, but we have on-site testing in our facility. We don't send our people out to another facility to get tested. We do them right on site. And I'm the GED facilitator. I do the testing over there. Another class that's on there, but I didn't talk about it, is Portal's New Direction. It's a 60-day class, and that is a re-entry class. The others are therapy classes, but Portal's is a re-entry class. That gives them the basic life skills that they need: how to manage money, how to buy a car, how to be organized, how to look for an apartment, how to manage things. I'd like to really get into that a little bit more and have more to offer on that. It also talks to them about how to get a driver's license, how to get a birth certificate, all those things. We tell them about it, but we need to be able to assist them and aid them at some point. And I'm working on getting them an ID now. I'm going through reentry to try to get all of them an ID that takes that class. We also have drug and alcohol counseling. It's provided by Leon Mueller, who is the director of that program. He comes to us from Bowling Green. Leon's been with us for years. Ever since I've been there, he's been doing this. You know, if you know Leon. So we do have drug and alcohol counseling in our facility. But the thing that I'm excited about the most is we're getting ready to offer college classes to our inmates. And so we've partnered with South Central Kentucky Community and Technical College, and we're starting a new program called Skydive. We're going to be offering college classes to the inmates that have a high school diploma or a GED. We currently have, I had 14, but as of today, I've got 15 inmates that are eligible and have already put in an application. So we have been working on getting them ready for these classes, and we're going to start doing our pre-testing on them. And so that brings me to introducing Samantha Mallory. She's the director at Sky for this program, and I'm going to have her come up here, and she's going to tell you more about our college classes that we're getting ready to offer.
Can I ask before you leave?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the percentage of your inmates that do this? Do you have a ballpark?
Right now, we have right at 60 inmates that are actually in MRT classes at this time, and I think we said how many was on our state side?
Total?
We had 70, wasn't it?
75.
75. So
State
that's.
and county, you're doing this.
And we're doing the GED. We're doing county now. The MRT classes are only offered to state inmates. They're the only ones that can take it because the earned good time and everything they get from the state. But the GED classes is offered to everyone.
So GED for county and state and MRT for
Yes, ma'am. And I think I have on there the stats on the. If I look on it, the stats on how much we have in the county and GED. I didn't even go over that page. I'm sorry, I got you all that. I did put a little page in there telling you about, briefly, a little bit about each of the programs there. Yes, in right now, let's see, in GED, they get 90 days if they complete GED. We have 5 county inmates, 4 county female inmates, 7 state inmates, and a waiting list of 3. So that's what we've got going on right now with GED. And we continuously get people wanting in. Of course, a lot of them go out, they get released, they go to other prisons, but that carries with them. We go through Pearson View, they keep up with all the data and records, and if they go to another facility, that follows them to that facility so they can continue getting their education there. So, okay, so I've got Samantha here. Samantha's going to come up and she's going to tell you about our new college program that we're starting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I will pass these down. Like she said, my name is Samantha Mallory. I have some roots here. My husband is from Logan County. His family's from Olmsted, and I've lived in Russellville for about 5 years. So Logan County is near and dear to my heart, and so is this program. So this is actually a new initiative across the country. So the Department of Education just started this fall of 2023 to allow people who are incarcerated to use Pell Grant. which is grant money that has usually been available to anyone, but since 1993, it's not been available to people who are incarcerated. So this year will actually be the first year that Simpson County Detention Center and Logan County Detention Center are offering classes in their jails. And these are actually the first 2 detention centers in the state of Kentucky to do this. So we are really pioneering this initiative. Jailer Toomey reached out to me and indicated that he was interested in offering it here, and I was so excited for the opportunity. So there is a process involved with this that we're working on through Sky CTC. So that involves approval from our accrediting body, SACS COC. It involves approval through the Department of Education. So it's a lengthy process, but we are trying to do our best to figure this out and, like I said, kind of pioneer this for any other jail that also wants to do this in the state. So, like she said, we have 15 inmates who have applied for admission, ordered transcripts, and completed the free application for federal student aid. And we're about to start placement testing within the next couple of weeks. As of right now, courses will be online. And Sergeant Fuller will be supervising those classes at the jail. And then, of course, I'll be visiting regularly to help with anything that they need, any questions that they may have. So the classes that they'll be taking will be general education courses. That should build their confidence in themselves to be able to be college students, and will be a good foundation for anything that they want to learn down the road. So regardless of what they want to major in, they will need these classes, and this will be a good start for them. So. Are there any questions?
Basically, it's the same thing that students used to get. Of course, I'm a little older than some of these guys, but they used to get your first year of university. You had to do that first before you could go into your specialty.
Yes.
So that's basically what
they're working on. Yes. So whether you start at a university or a community college, anywhere you go, you're going to be taking things like math, English, reading, and so that's what they're starting with here. Yeah.
Well, good for you. Are you going to be one of the instructors at our jail?
I won't. So I really help with the paperwork process and getting them admitted and getting their financial aid taken care of. And then, like I said, there'll be an online class. And so Sergeant Fuller will be supervising that, but they'll all have computers and be working on the same class together and have the same instructor.
So y'all just, are all inmates eligible for Pell grant money, or?
Yes, they should be. Mm-hmm.
So y'all just, for whatever Pell grant money they receive is the cost of their tuition, basically?
Yes, actually, Pell Grant normally more than covers the cost of tuition, but there is a regulation that prevents them from receiving a refund while they're incarcerated. So it would just be the exact amount that they need to cover their tuition.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is this for county and state inmates?
I believe so. Is it for county and state inmates?
Not just state.
Right now, we're just doing it for state.
Just state. Okay.
Just state.
And that's the same for Simpson County Detention
So
Center.
why would it not be available to county?
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe with state, they're in for a longer period of time and we know their release date, whereas with county it could vary. Is that correct?
It's something we'll look into. Right now, we know we have the state inmates detention. We've got them for a length of time where the county just kind of come and go. So, we're doing a pilot program starting out with the state, and then we'll go to the county and see how it works.
And we want to make sure that they're able to be in the entire course, for its several
Finish
months.
it.
Yeah.
They're going to show up at class.
True.
Because county inmates haven't been sentenced yet.
Right.
Or could
They
it
I'm
can
listening.
be released, they can
Yeah, I'm
serve
listening,
early.
but I just would like to see more Logan County kids not come back with situation. So the bottom line is, I was listening to you, but everything we do to improve the quality of life for the bigger picture.
And I want to step in on that.
Of course, yeah.
We are associated with the Adult Learning Center. I do know that they do address that issue over there. So like if they get out and they start, some of them are in the county and they take GED and they pass their GED, then from there, when they get out, they can go to the Adult Learning Center. They do the IQ testing over there to get them ready for college, and they help them out over there. So they're not left hanging. We do have the Adult Learning Center that helps out on that end,
On the
county side.
And I work closely with them as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Just for, I guess, understanding, when the state inmate comes into our facility, do we know how long we're gonna have that state
We
inmate?
have an
So is-
idea.
So is there always a threat that they won't be able to finish, like?
I'm not saying.
Well,
get
it would be up to
transferred.
them. I mean, if they get out, it would be up to them to contact, and from what I understand, they've got assistants that can help direct them in the right direction to the college they need to go to. Am I right?
Yes. If they were to get out in the middle of a class, I would connect with them personally and make sure that they either continue in a different county or here in this area.
We've got Richard with Adult Ed. Richard, would you like to come up and give us a little insight on what you guys are doing
Yes.
with,
All right.
with that also?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Golly. Wow. I don't have anything or handouts or anything, but I'm just going to talk to you. Is that okay?
Yep.
Y'all know me pretty well, I think most of you do. I'm retired from Logan Aluminum, spent 37 years with the company. My entire background's industrial maintenance, and all of that is training and knowledge. And I can tell you my start was in 1974, I believe. I started in 72 at GE at a ballast manufacturing plant in Madisonville, Kentucky. And I started at the very lowest job you could possibly get. Okay, the very lowest. I mean, and I wanted to learn, I wanted to get better. I come from a really tough background, like many of the folks that you see in detention center. My dad's alcoholic, and I grew up in that environment, but I had teachers and coaches and people that intervened in my life. And they placed that desire in for me to learn and I wasn't a product of my environment. That changed my mindset. One of the biggest influencers was a youth minister. Met him, changed my life. So I'm going to go forward to 1974. I'd worked my way up through all the operations jobs. I was a setup man. And a job came open on midnight shift, maintenance. This lead man is Melvin Newman, United States Marine Corps, survived the South Pacific. And so I interviewed for a job at the maintenance foreman. I sat at the table. He didn't even look at me. He looked at my resume and he said, Richard, we hear good things about you, but you're not qualified. He said, you have no skill sets, nothing. He said, you're absolutely. And he was done with me. I'm like looking at him. I said, I'm looking at him. I said, that's my interview? I'm looking. And finally, I sat there long enough. He looked up, made eye contact, said, "What can I help you?" And I said, "Yes." So what do I need to do? Become qualified. He thought for a minute. He said, "Well, there's a school of industrial electricity downtown being taught that most of the coal mines send their technicians to. School of Industrial Electricity. So if you go to that," they said, "maybe we will think about an opportunity to look at you again." So I did. It's about 10 months. I was there 2-3 nights a week, went to class. I received my certificate. I went to the class, and sure enough, as soon as I got that certificate, Phil, the job opening up on midnight shift again with Melvin Newman. Everybody tried to talk me out of it, but I took that job. And I can tell you now, that training opened the door. And I can tell you, class after class through my career, I went from all the technical schools you could think of possibly that I had at Seabury. It's an aluminum smelter plant. I became a planner, a technician, a supervisor over the switchyard. I mean, just one thing after the other. I came to Logan Aluminum, started there, all kinds of different jobs, all kinds of training. By the way, at Seabury, I became the maintenance planner. I was the first one they had. I went around the entire plant and set up maintenance and planning systems in every department. I did that. No, this was at Seabury.
Oh, excuse me.
Seabury's a smelter. So transferred to Logan. And so it's been a lifetime of learning. And by the way, I graduated college. I was 50 years old. I got a Bachelor of Science in Business, Organizational Leadership. So I know the values of education, what they're doing here. It changes everything. So what you're doing, what you're considering, what they're talking about at the detention center, if you can save one, maybe save two. Because I've been in recovery ministries here in our community. I Celebrate Recovery. I've been under other, the mentoring program, different things involved in churches. We're working with a lot of people. And what you will see, and I've talked to Mr. Toomey, is generational. right? Sometimes these guys in detention may be third generation. And a lot of it is education. They don't know. They don't have a skill set. And so the opportunity here is to start making a change. I'm excited about this college program. And then the GED, I thought the GED was awesome. By the way, I'm the president of the Adult Ed Council here in Logan County, so we oversee some things there in the community GED program. We're involved with adult ed in that way, so, but education, these things, that little piece of paper changed my life. I had 40 years basically in industrial maintenance. It changed everything about me. So I'm not sure what you have to decide, Judge, but it's a worthwhile initiative.
Oh, yeah.
And it changes people's lives.
I agree with the education 100%.
Yes.
You know,
Can I
multiple
ask
years
something?
in a school board, I agree with that 100%. And I think the Officer Toomey's opening up Jailer Toomey, sorry, man. I think he's opening up every opportunity available to educate. And we just want to say we appreciate your involvement with the jail. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The biggest factor I've had, because I've done counseling too.
Yes.
The biggest thing is if they think you understand them. Because a lot of times it's people preaching down to them, this is what you need, this is what you need, but they don't come from the background of knowing what happened before. And if you tell your story that you just told us, that is an immediate instigator for them to feel better and to move forward, because they think you don't know what it's like to deal with an alcoholic father or a drug addicted parent. And they'll smile and nod, but they don't think you come from that. So the biggest thing of all is what you just told us, and I hope you do it every time. It's wonderful.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, anything else? Anything else? Okay.
No, sir, I believe that's
Thank
it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Richard. All right, if nothing else, let's move on to department heads. ECC. She has nothing. Archives.
So a little update on our overnight event from last week. We had 7 that registered, 2 had to back out because of things in their world that went wrong. We ended up with 4 in attendance. We had an amazing time. Definitely going to do it again. So want to thank the SAR chapter for our late night snack and Vicky's restaurant for breakfast. It was all amazing. And the grant that we've been talking about for the project, the cycle opens next week. We meet with KDLA rep for our region on Monday the 3rd. Any questions?
Thank you. Nathan, solid waste.
Unless y'all have questions, it's a summer solstice miracle. I don't have any.
What is going on here? I just don't understand. I think everybody, Humane Society.
All right, this is the shelter director's report for May of 2023. Our beginning shelter count was 59, being 59 dogs.
Thank you, sir.
Intake of animals, ACO pickup 17, 10 dogs, 3 cats. I think I had a typo there. Police pickup 2 dogs. A citizen drop off 37 total, 17 dogs, 20 cats. 0 abandoned, 4 court case dogs. 20 owner surrenders, 14 dogs, 6 cats, 2 returned adoptions being dogs. Total intakes for the month were 82, 50 dogs, and 32 cats. Outcome of animals shelter adoptions, 54, 29 dogs, and 25 cats. Rescues were 25 total, being 25 dogs. Euthanasia, 13 total, 12 dogs, 1 cat. Reclaimed animals, 10 dogs. Died or lost in shelter care, 0. Total outcomes excluding those owner youth requests, which we had 0. 103, 77 dogs and 26 cats. Adoptions or placements, 87.25 live release rate. Ending shelter count at 38 total, 32 dogs and 6 cats.
How many animals
questions?
have y'all taken in this month?
79.
What's the busy months? Is that the summertime?
Yeah, like right now is puppy and kitty season.
No.
So they're coming in left and right. Any other questions? Nope.
All right, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, this now brings us to judges' announcements, and man, I've got a bunch, so bear with me. June the 29th to the 30th, remember the Logan County Fair is still going on. They're going to wrap it up with the Market and Dairy Goat Show, Lamb Show, Gilt Show, Hog Show, all kinds of animal shows. So go out and join them. That's the 29th to the 30th. That's on their Facebook page for sure. July the 1st is a party at the park. Logan County Chamber of Commerce, Logan County Fiscal Court, and the City of Russellville present the 2023 Party at the Park with live music and fireworks on Saturday, July the 1st, starting at 5 o'clock. Music by the 101st Airborne Division Rock Band and J.D. Shelburne. There's food trucks, cornhole, face painting, and more, with the fireworks beginning at dark. This is a free event for the entire family, sponsored by Independent Bank. Cruise in at Auburn City Park will be also July the 1st from 9 to 1. Door prizes, including cash, plenty of music. Bring your lawn chairs, come out and enjoy. July the 1st is the Independence Day party at the park. Festival starts at 5 p.m. There will be live music, food trucks, fireworks, and more. I think I already said that. July the 2nd is the Freedom and Family Celebration by the Auburn Tourism. Celebrate 6 p.m. at the Auburn Park. This is a free event. It will also include food trucks, inflatables, live music, fireworks at dark. The event is provided by Auburn City Park and Liberty Baptist Church, New Friendship Baptist Church. July the 4th, Bob and Joyce Guines 4th of July Kitty Parade. The Colonel Benjamin Logan chapter of the Sons of American Revolution are once again sponsoring the annual Bob and Joyce Guine 4th of July Kitty Parade in Russellville. It begins at 9:30 on West 8th Street near the Sikh Museum. All children are invited to decorate their bikes, trucks, wagons, battery-powered operated vehicles, whatever you want, and show up. No motorized vehicles. So no go-karts, four-wheelers, cars, pickup trucks, or anything like that. Refreshments will be provided. And then the last thing is Thunder Over Lewisburg. The 9th annual Thunder Over Lewisburg takes place at the Lewisburg City Park. This event is free and open to anyone who wishes to see the amazing fireworks display. Vendors will be set up in the park area from 5 p.m. Fireworks will begin at 9 p.m. For more information, just check them out on Facebook. It's a wonderful time if you've not seen that firework display. I'm sure all of them are going to be great. All right, let's move on. Next thing is reports. I don't think we have any. Citizen participation. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to come up and speak to the court? If not, we're going to move on to old business. First item is discuss bid for food service at Logan County Detention Center for our fiscal year 23-24. Jailer Tammy, would you like to come up and talk to us, please, sir?
As far as questions and things on food service, Kelly White can help me answer those questions.
Thank y'all for letting me come. I sat back there and listened to Miss Fuller, and she's done an amazing job. And I really want to talk about that just for a second. My background, I was Deputy Commissioner of Corrections, and so corrections is really in my life, and I enjoyed it. But I think one thing that just to keep in mind she talked about 60 MRT people. 60, I mean, that's amazing just to have the class, right? Mm-hmm. But what's that really mean to you all? I think your MRT class is 180 days. So at 180 days, now the person who teaches that has a bachelor's degree? Yeah. So that means something to you. That means an extra $10 a day on your housing. So instead of 3534, you're getting 4534. So over the 6 months, that's an additional $108,000. Plus, if they all graduate, that's another $60,000. So that's $168,000 just for that one class. If you do it twice a year, I mean, it's amazing. Those classes are fantastic for the people.
We'll take all we can get.
Exactly. and like Jailer Toomey said, you've got 75 state inmates, I think is what he said. What's that mean to you? That's about $1 million at $35. No programs. You put programs with them, what's that do for you? So you see the value of the state inmates. I will tell you, I've known your jail for a long time. I've seen it on good days, I've seen it on bad days. And today's good days, because it's a lot better than historically. Not to say anything negative about the people who ran it before, because I was friends with them and like them, but they just run it differently than what Josh is doing today. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on my soapbox. I love to talk about jails and prisons, but and I could talk all day, but today I think we're going to talk about the food service. The jail runs on a couple of things. Obviously, you have to have inmates, right, to make the jail run, because that makes the budget work. Unless they're county inmates, and really those just cost us money. So, once they're there, we got to take care of them. We got to give them medical. We have to give them a place to stay. It has to be a certain temperature, a certain light in the cell. There's a lot of things we have to do. But one thing we have to do is we have to feed them. And it's on for the ones that have been in the military. It's the Army runs on their stomach, the jail runs on their stomach. I looked at the minimum requirements for the Department of Corrections, says it's 2,400 calories. I'm going to have that at lunch when I go see Nancy over at the Bethel Dipper. And see, oh, exactly. I mean, I gotta get the large milkshake because, anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get off track. Now, I grew up in Lewisburg. I don't know if you guys don't know me. I grew up there, went to school at Western, graduated from there. Then I went to, had a few jobs, and then I was helped out in Ernie Fletcher's campaign for governor and was appointed Deputy Commissioner of Corrections and went to the wrong building the first day because I didn't know anything about it. But they said, look, we'll teach you. And so they taught me a lot of stuff. And I had a legislator call me this morning at the hotel saying, well, what's this mean? Because much of what Josh goes by I either wrote or I had a hand in it, or, they've adjusted it since I left. But I love the jail business. And that's really what it is. We're in the business of hopefully saving people. I'm going to see one this afternoon that told me the best thing that ever happened to her was coming to jail.
Really?
The first time I talked to her, she didn't know what planet she was on. And she's in there for a strange reason. We won't talk about it here, but she really, by law, probably shouldn't be there, but she had nowhere to go. She didn't know what, on their jail management system that Josh uses, you had to put their name in, their pertinent information, their address, their city, all that kind of stuff. She didn't know what her street address was, nor what city she lived in. That's how bad she was. Now she's up talking like us. Of course, that's been almost a month and a half in jail on a normal charge. You get out in 4 hours if you have somebody pick you up. 8 hours if you don't. But a lot of people, some of my family included, go, well, Kelly, we should lock them up and throw away the key. Well, the answer is that's just not the right answer. I mean, we just can't do that because 95% of the people in that jail are going to get out. And they're going to be working here somewhere. Hopefully we'll end up like this gentleman that was here. Right? Because that's our goal. We don't want them to come back. But when they do come back, we got to feed them. And so we've been working with Josh on 2,400 calories a day is just not a lot. That's 800 calories a meal. That's a meat, a vegetable, some kind of starch, and some kind of dessert, whether it's just a brownie or a cookie or whatever, and then a drink. And the drink is virtually no calories because, sugar's expensive.
Oh,
So what we're trying to do is came to us and said, we really got to do better. And I think the answer is right. We got to do better. 2,850 calories. There's some choices in there. I guess you all seen the menus or haven't. Well, there's choices on how much milk they get and how much they don't, and that because milk is probably one of the most expensive parts of the whole meal. And so we came in with a new offering in 27. He has some options: 25 cents a meal, 27 cents, or 36 cents a meal. I mean, that's 81 cents a day, 75 cents a day, or $1.08 a day. And whatever you guys choose or have any questions, I'll be glad to answer anything.
I think
You work for Kilwell, right?
I do.
Oh.
Josh, I think that one question that got raised at the last meeting was these prices was at the higher calorie intake. Was that right?
Yes.
And I think we were asking what the minimum prices were, just so they could, on the accounting side of how you keep up with what the extra was to come out of the canteen. Remembering that right? I think that was the only question we sort of asked.
So I think-
was to be presented with the base price plus the extra price.
We're paying approximately $5,000 a month difference out of commissary fund. We're just doing that a lot.
I understand that, but we don't have the base number. We only have the number, for what it is for the calorie that you pick. We're wanting to know what that base number is for the minimum requirement, so accounting can keep up with, this is what the base is, this is what the county pays for out of their budget, and then what you're paying is the difference.
Yeah. We wanted to see, we want this sheet with the addendum pricing. I think we wanted to see a third column there of what the base price was versus the higher calorie total was.
Do you know that?
Off the top of my head, I don't know that. I know that we have inside of our agreements with the jails, we have the ability to raise based on inflation and that kind of stuff, and we haven't raised the price for many years. I do know that we're raising basically right at 35%, just because prices have gone sky high and it's a struggle to keep good people at what we can afford to pay.
Because what we need to approve in court is the base price. And then that gives him the leeway to pull from his canteen account, because that's really limited to what he can spend those funds on. It's for the betterment of the inmates.
It is.
100%.
It's for the inmate benefit, recreation, and not limited to inmate medical.
So if we could get that number, then that way we approve the base amount, and then they pay the difference.
I'm sorry, I keep looking at my phone. I sent an email to our folks asking what that was, and I'm just not hearing back.
Yeah, I think we didn't really have so much a problem with the bid. It's just we wanted to be able to award it at the base value.
Okay.
And then let Josh take the other and supplement the extra cost.
from the commissary, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you think you'll get a response back?
I hope so. If you don't mind, I'll step outside and call them,
Well,
and
you can just hang out and
we'll circle back.
Circle back.
All right. Thank you. Now
I'll be back. Item number 2, discuss the bids for the HVAC system for the Logan County Detention Center 23-24 fiscal year. Josh, did you guys come up with a recommendation looking at the 4 bids?
Going through the contracts, they're pretty similar. I'll leave it to the court's discretion on
All right.
Well, I mean, if you don't have a variance between one or the other, saw a difference, the low bid was PSK.
Correct.
And were they the only local one? I mean, as far as Logan County company?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you consider.
Realistically,
Lee Company
yes.
not local. I mean, they're
A lot of them
workers.
yeah, they're in Tennessee, Kentucky, they're all over. They're tech people live in Logan County.
Right.
You know, but as far as headquartered in Russellville, to my knowledge, PSK is the only one that has headquarters.
I think Lee has some people stationed and that actually live in Russellville, but whether they actually deal with that side of it, I'm not sure. So as Josh has said, he leaves it on the favor of the court to make that decision.
I think PSK is still the lowest from Lee.
They was replacing 3 units every year. Was- Are you putting that in the form of a motion?
Yeah, well, yeah, unless y'all see something different that I don't, please look at it and tell me if I'm missing something, but if the jail staff has looked at it, and Jailer Toomey says, hey, they're all apple to apple bid, which they should be, we put the spec out. Then the apparent low bidder is PSK. And PSK has been servicing those units for a long time.
Make a motion to award the contract, HVAC maintenance contract to PSK.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. As I said, we put the bid out, the bid specs came out, everyone received the exact same specs, they knew exactly what we were asking for, so with that being said, if there's no other discussion, roll call on that, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Holden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 3, discuss earthquake insurance on fiscal year 23-24. After our last meeting, you guys had asked some questions about that. I sent you an email, and I meant to copy them, and I totally forgot to pick them up. They're sitting down there on the copier, so your copy of this. Basically, what it boiled down to is the cost of the earthquake insurance went up $6,557 compared to last year's bid. The Justice Center, which is the lion's share of those bids, is the $15,150 or $193.26, and that will be paid by the AOC or reimbursed as the AOC. So if you have no discussion, I would entertain a motion to accept.
One quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that 6,000 plus increase, is that a normal expectation, or is that just this year with inflation?
I would love to answer that, but this is my first year, so
Well, that's my question.
I think we're seeing a cost increase, just like the food service and everything else. We're seeing such an increase, a massive increase on everything, that honestly, a 6,000 doesn't make me happy. But I don't. I think it's a norm. I think it's. I mean, yeah, with all insurance. Food, utilities, everything seems to be going up, and I mean, it's just.
That was the only thing I wondered.
Oh, yeah,
It seemed like
yes,
an
ma'am.
awful lot.
My guess would be tornadoes and floods didn't get up.
Right. That probably
So
didn't
they're trying to
help.
recoup.
Hopefully it's a one-time.
Okay,
Hopefully.
that was my question.
But know that next year we will be watching for that.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Yes,
exactly what I was wondering.
If you could put that on the calendar, maybe have Scott put it on the calendar, maybe in April, and we could put that out to some other carriers. and
Absolutely.
I'm sure Keiko is testing the market. It's the first time I've seen this carrier Aspen, but I do not honestly know who the carrier has been. So maybe it was Aspen, I don't know, but we could always go. We use our agent of record as More Insurance, David Clark. We could always just go to him and say, hey, put this out on the market and see
What you get. Oh, that's a really good idea. Are you gonna make that a motion?
We don't need a motion to do that.
For that?
Judge can just do that.
Just put that on for Scott.
Yeah, I've got it on the calendar now.
Oh, that's an
Sometime in
excellent
April.
idea. It gives us.
Yeah, no, I totally 100% agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
Forward thinking. Thank
And you may come back and.
It may be higher. We don't know where it's going to go until we try.
This money may be fair market value.
It's just like your personal insurance and such. If you don't check, you don't know. With that being said, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Did you find any information or, okay, well, if that's the case, we'll move on to new business. Approve the ARPA state and local fiscal recovery fund expenditures regarding revenue loss. Amanda, would you like to come and explain a little of this to us, please?
I don't know how good I'll be at explaining it, but I'll do my best here.
You'll do fine.
So, we had discussed so when we had the ARPA money, we we did allocate some of it to broadband projects and various other things. There was still an unencumbered balance out there. And the discussion was that we were going to, part of those funds can be converted to lost revenue. And so we had discussed turning those at our budget workshop, that lost revenue, claiming that. So that is what this contract does, is it the unencumbered amount that we have out there on the ARPA funds, we are going to convert that to lost revenue. So what that will do is, if you all approve this, then that money will be put into our general fund, and then you all can decide where that money goes from there.
So out of this is about 750,000 balance left?
We have 726.
726, so pretty much like 30,000 of it would be, still have to be designated.
And that money is interest, and I did check on that. The interest can be moved at any time. It's not like the rest of the funds.
So I'm 100% for that as long as there is a two-step process. One step, we vote to move it and take this as lost revenue, move it into the general fund, and then the next immediate step is move it out of the general fund into someplace designated to be determined. You know, I'm just not going to vote to let that sit in general fund money.
Well, I was gonna ask you, the special reserve fund that we have, the hospital money, is that an appropriate place for the time being for interest bearing? And that has no designated purpose either, but it's more like I see it as a rainy day thing. Or
I just think because it's ARPA funds and what the intention of it, we should have a short-term goal for that money.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree. I don't want it to sit in the
shouldn't
general
sit
fund.
there. You know, I've sat on court and we've never touched special reserve money. I think we touched it one time, back up on that, but maybe one time to do the radio towers. And I think you were the treasurer at that point, but I think we pulled some money briefly from that and then put it back over time. But you know, I think it's intended to be spent and we need to spend it.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
I don't have a problem moving it over there and hey, we're gonna move it over here.
Yeah, I just sort of
until
like,
we need it to pay the bill, but I want to know what we're gonna spend it on.
I think we need to earmark it really quick, because if we don't, we'll forget about it and it'll just be dissolved.
So when we do put that in the general fund, it is my goal, and with your all's blessing, to leave that balance in our general fund at all time. As we've moved X amount of money into the general fund, at all point that money is sitting in the general fund. And then I'll transfer for anything above that that I need. So we're not actually spending any of those dollars.
Still in reserve, just a different place.
Yes.
So will it show like an unencumbered?
I personally think we ought to put $500,000 of it, go right to the Parks and Rec fund, just because we put out the bid that we're looking for property, and that property's gonna cost us, a good amount of money to get started on that project. And I think we take the rest of it and put it in the 911 fund to help build an additional tower.
Towers, plural. Plural.
Well, $100 and something thousand dollars is going to help us with one tower for now, but.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But if we divided that, if we split that money, then the $340,000 would do 2 towers.
That's true. Or at least get us a whole lot closer to 2.
Well, there's
which,
money there for towers. I think we're splitting hairs, you know, I think we can afford out of cash to do all 3 towers, you know, but I'm fine with your idea.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. I think a decision needs to be made sooner than later.
I agree 100%. We need to make this money somewhere, but we need to really think about where we put it because, you know, at this point, we're needing to look at towers pretty heavily.
And man, I guess the only reason I was asking about putting it in that special is just for that simple sake of
Just want to know
easier
that I
recognition
can tell
of.
my constituents
That's
where
It's not
I
mixing,
put
you know, but I mean, that's,
Yes.
I hate for us to look at, oh, you know, 3 months down the line and
Yes.
forget that, oh yeah, that also includes that money we see we're.
I promise I won't let y'all forget.
Jason wants to do it all.
Do it. Go ahead.
But we got, did you say we got to take 2 votes here?
Yes.
He just
Well,
said a two-part
we don't have to do
purpose.
anything. This is Thomas Bolden talking. I just, you know, I'm big on being able to go to my constituents and saying, what did y'all do with the ARPA money? I don't want to say I spent $4 million, $4.5 million on the broadband expansion. I put the rest of it in general fund for now. I won't ever have to say that, you know. Right now I say it's there, and then the other part is in designated fund for ARPA. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do with the $750,000. You know, so yeah, what I'd like to say, we spent, this is Thomas speaking, I spent $4.5 million on broadband expansion, and I moved the remaining balance to future park and recreation.
Will the remaining pay for the 3 towers?
Yeah.
That's an open question because at this point, we really don't have any hard numbers on that.
Construct towers, but as far as getting the equipment, our big problem that we have is channel availability, or to the FCC, is that we don't have enough frequencies. So, you know, even when we do add a tower, we've got to kind of like replicate, or say we'll have to share frequencies between 2 tower sites. It's got to be a special setup. We need to do it, and we can do it, but you know, just constructing the tower, we can get I talked to Derek some, we can get a used tower. I don't know how much, but just say ballpark $150,000-$200,000 for a used tower installed. Okay, and because he's got to contract someone out to climb the tower, yada yada yada, and then we've got to get the equipment on top of that. So, you know, I mean, I think we need to. I don't know that we're going to be able to do it all in one big. You know, we need another tower. We need to be a tower in Darrell, in that area, and we need a. Oh, that's the side. I think that's the tornado side we talked about.
Okay, so
the tower for radio coverage, you know, somewhere in South Logan.
Okay.
And then we need to relocate the one in Lewisburg. We talked about that, and then relocate the one in Auburn.
Absolutely, those are the 3 that are doing, and that should put us in decent shape. But there's a lot more parts and pieces that go with that. That's not just the towers.
So the current system we have today, you know, we've had it for a long time.
Correct.
You know, when you go into a whole different technology and a different world of radios, then you're talking about millions of dollars.
Correct.
Then you're talking about millions, not a million, millions of dollars. So, you know, hopefully we can seek out.
But in the
meantime, we need to go ahead and get our, regardless, you know, we got to have tower sites. So, but you know, I don't know.
Is our broadband cost fixed? Meaning, like, I know we haven't paid that bill yet, but is it a hard number? Like, there won't be a change order for.
Unless grants.
Yeah, it's fixed to a max, but it could go down.
Okay.
So,
So
especially Penny Route has been applying on our behalf for state grants,
That's right.
you know.
Penny Rye hasn't asked for the first red cent, and they've already starting to put it at home, so.
I just wanted to I wanted to ask, like, that we weren't gonna be expected, like, hey, we had a couple $100,000 overrun.
We're hoping Alan comes back and says,
Yeah.
we don't need any of the.
$3.5 million.
That would be
And Penny
just-
Rye, 1 million, EPB max.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve the ARPA state and local fiscal recovery fund expenditure regarding revenue loss.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
Are we having another motion after this one? Okay. Take your word for it.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any other
We'll be
discussion?
wrestling out there in the playground afterwards.
We ain't got a playground yet.
Approve the playground, they have that.
Yeah, that's right.
Before those comments go viral, before those comments go viral, can I get a roll call, please?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Amanda, thank you for getting that. It was quite a bit.
I think 100, I mean, that was, you know, just to use it towards 911 in some sort of upgrade or improvement, because not to mention, you're fixing to buy a new Zetron system that's $300,000, right? So I mean, I think we need to put some of that in.
But she can move it to general and then transfer 500 to Parks and Rec.
That's
And
right.
what does she do with $186,000?
911.
Transfer it to 911. Okay.
I don't know what line item, I guess equipment, you know, or upgrades equipment, there's a line item for that.
Or reserve or a 911
Can we do
reserve.
I think she just wants to kind of get it.
That's more so for me, that's gonna be cash transfers to the different places.
Okay.
And then, we'll figure out, you know, exactly what line item it's going.
The thing about transferring it to 911 is how will we know that 186,000 stays in there?
Exactly.
I'll just make sure, like, that is part of it. I'm gonna calculate that when I calculate cash transfers, because that is a bill for me. A
Okay.
savings, a bill, so that money is always there.
Okay. So if we don't build a tower this fiscal year, there'll be a
You'll
contingency
see that in your carryover.
carryover for $186,000.
All right, I make a motion to transfer of the $686,449.26. I make a motion to put $500,000 of it into the Parks and Rec fund, and the remaining balance of $186,449.26 into the 911 fund to be designated for
Upgrades and improvements.
upgrades and improvements to our infrastructure in the future.
I'll second that, that's great.
One thing, I probably will not make those transfers until after July 1.
That's fine, yes.
Yeah.
As long as we got it.
Hannah, did you get that motion? Okay. I have a motion and a second. Is there?
You good with that, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just wanted to see some of the money go over for towers.
Yeah.
I know that's a big concern for a lot of us, and I just want to see us, I'm working on that, and I want to get that established and moved. We're currently, Derek and Ginger and myself are looking at different locations and for these towers, and yes, trying.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
Man, so like, I go back to the special reserve fund. Is it an interest-bearing fund?
All of ours are interest
So this money will.
It will continue to draw into
That's a huge question.
Do you know what that rate, like just off the top of your head, is, the interest rate?
It was 4%.
Perfect.
Really?
I just want to make sure we wasn't getting at a point something, you know, knowing what rates were out there at this current moment. Thank you, Amanda. All right, I've had a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 2.
Hey, I looked up some old, we talked about it a while ago, but just for reference, if y'all want to know, in 2019, we, Keiko's, who we had our earthquake insurance.
Yeah, but they weren't the carrier, they were just the acting agent. Carrier.
It doesn't ever say the carrier, but anyway, it was $26,986, and then in 2021, it was $23,858, so I don't know why it went down.
We adjusted the,
Right. Last year you adjusted the amount of coverage and your deductible. That's why the number went.
because it was a crazy number last year, and we was like,
Correct.
we need to adjust this deductible.
So,
And we stayed with those same deductibles that you adjusted to last year.
and it just says Keiko, they didn't mention who the carrier was.
Thank you, Tyler. Item number 2, approve the service contract with Sharp Laser Company Technologies for contract period 7/18/23 through 7/17/24.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
Amanda, thank you for all that work you're doing at ARPA, state and local recovery.
Absolutely.
She worked on it anyway. I forgot to mention that.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 3, approve proposed fiscal year 23-24 budget changes as submitted.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there anything on that that warrants discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Thank
Goodwin.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Transfer of your road fund.
Yeah, I appreciate you donating your entire salary back to the court.
I know what y'all are voting on.
Was that a yes?
Much bigger
Yes.
Okay. Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
That was moved to Thomas.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 4, approve the employee salary list for fiscal year 23-24 as required by the Kentucky State Auditor's Office.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Thank you for all your work.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 5, review and discuss any changes needed in the admin code.
We don't have any changes.
There's no changes at this
Yeah,
point.
we
Oh, there is. I'm sorry. My apologies.
We did
Oh,
have
sorry.
one change.
My apologies.
By KRS, they increased the threshold on advertising from bids from 30 to 40,000. So we were going to recommend that change. We do have a few other changes that we would like to make to the admin code. One of them's concerning the credit card policy, but we need to get some things lined out on our travel policy before we do that. So today, the only change that we have that we wanted to recommend was changing that threshold from 30 to 40,000.
Do you know what page that's on? I don't think it matters.
It
Motion
is
to approve
under
change as presented.
number 21,
Second.
page 21.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
We changed that from 25 to 30 in 2019, I think it was.
20 to 30.
Yeah, that was 20.
Item number 6, approve the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 23-220-03, the proposed Logan County Fiscal Court budget for fiscal year 23-24.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. I guess we need to revisit old business, item number 1, food service. Are we,
Here it comes, because I think we have other time.
I'm sorry for the delay, but the previous amount was 146.1 per meal. And that was for 2,450 calories. If we had done like we are doing at some other places, that would, your 35% increase would be $1.97.2. But with the adjustment of the new agreement with the jail, whichever one he decides to go with, it could be anywhere from 173.1 to 182.1.
173,
173.1 to 182.1.
182.
And what meal count is that based on?
That is based on the 175, I think, 100, I mean, it was 189, right, somewhere right in there, yeah. That would depend on which one he would choose.
So the 180 to 189 is how much?
Sorry, it's so different from
The
the computer.
the 189, I mean, I got it right here, sorry.
What numbers did you just tell us?
The numbers from the old contract, I used the numbers for the old contract.
So basically, from the old contract, the base 2,450 calories is not, the price hasn't changed. Is that what you're saying?
We're not changing that because we're going into a new contract. And with the new contract, the adjustment for the different amounts of calories and the milk choice, it was 27 cents, 25 cents, and 36 cents. Depends on which one he chose.
Okay. So,
Say that last part just one more time, Kelly.
So what we're doing is we are adding the 146.1 plus whichever one he chooses.
And those three numbers.
And those three numbers were $1.71.1, $1.73.1, or $1.82.1.
So we're approving $1.46.1 is what we're approving.
And then what he decides to take from the commissary fund to supplement.
Whenever he picks on those 3-tier bump ups, comes out of commissary. Pretty simple.
Contract's not going to say, state that. Contract's going to state behind.
Yeah, but Amanda
Yeah,
needs
what
to
we'll-
know the budget that we're approving for, come out of his
The
regular budget.
146.1.
yeah, but we still need that new contract that has the
Yeah, we're
different
gonna
tiers.
have to have the new contract that shows the price per meal, so when we get the bills in, we have something to compare by.
Yeah, 'cause it's cheap.
And
Make sure they come
So,
like that.
Josh-
Whichever one he picks.
Whichever one he picks.
146, the bill just needs to come. Base, this many, people were incarcerated at this time, so the rate is following the grid. It's pretty simple.
Yep.
And there's the number, and then the second line item would be his pickup for the upgrade of.
I will tell you, we'll probably let you all fight that battle. We'll give you the price, and then you guys can deduct wherever it goes.
We probably
So
would.
right now, the way that it works is we get a bill, and Hannah, you correct me if I'm wrong, because you see the bills. We get 2 separate bills, right?
I mean, I only see the one bill, so
So we
if
get
there
a
is
bill
two,
that is
I only
for
see the
what
one.
our calories are, and then the commissary gets a different bill for whatever the overage amount is.
The overage, the commissary gets that bill.
Yes, and we would need for it to continue to be that way. So we're not
You're
getting
right.
one bill.
But
we're
You get a bill
deducting
directly
X
that you pay.
We do.
All right.
Oh, that's a good idea. That works
Probably
well.
should put out
So,
the
Josh,
price, probably. Just make
is
sure we say
Base calories.
base calories.
Period.
Is your commissary account gonna be able to cover?
For those add-ons.
No, what was that?
He said next year when we bid it, we need to bid it strictly for the base calories. And he can give that bump up in calorie price straight to the jail. we don't even need to do it.
We don't need to be in the middle of that part. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for your extra effort there.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome.
So we are going to move forward accepting the proposal for the 146-1 for the base galleries with K-Well. So moved.
Second.
Thank you. For
Oh, you're so welcome.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any other discussion? Not roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. All right, that concludes old and new business. Our next is executive session, and we will be going into executive session.
One thing, Judge, are
I'm
we
sorry.
not going to discuss the magisterial maps?
No, sir, not today.
Okay.
They are going to have another meeting to rediscuss the new lines, but they wanted to have that meeting between themselves before they submitted them to you guys. I will promise you I'll keep you as much of the loop as I possibly can.
So second question, when does that have to be approved? Is there a state deadline?
60, bear with me, my apology. It's 60 days after 60 days after their appointment.
After who's
After
appointed?
they were appointed, after the 60 days after you guys appointed them to that. Their plan was to come back next meeting in the first meeting in July to present. I know
Okay.
what's going on, but I will make sure that everyone's much in the loop as I can. There's just, with the way that the law is written, I'm trying to keep myself and you out of as much trouble as I can.
So they're going to present next quarter?
Yes, sir.
The new map that we have.
The new map. I think you
We
got.
haven't seen that.
You guys have not seen the new map that I've seen it. I think it's a well laid out, better than the other one.
Well, just
What I'm going to ask you guys to do is to look at that base map, that scenario number 3 that you had see, and please email me any. Just send me an email with your concerns.
Okay.
okay, but I want to state my concerns
Yes, sir.
now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and let the court digest it. Okay, so I've sat on court for 2 of these. Okay, didn't know anything the first time it happened. I'm like the rest of y'all. I'm just okay, what do we do? And now I say the second one. Both times, Logan County really and truly has not had much of a growth. It's not like we've had 10% growth or not even 5% growth. We've had a movement of people, so people have moved or gravitated more towards the eastern part of the county, which is the Auburn district, District 5. Okay, and that's happened twice. So, who knows what 10 years is going to bring, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say the next 2030 census, we're probably going to see that a third time. The growth tends to be going towards the Bowling Green area. There's now a 4-lane highway there. There's a lot of reasons why that's happening. It's not because the magistrate's great, right?
Well, that should be taken into consideration.
Yes. Well, somebody can put a number on that. But anyhow, that is what's happening, and it's probably going to continue to do so in the foreseeable near future. So to me, it's not rocket science. We all got to move east. Okay? It's just pretty simple, whether we like it or not. You can't take some districts and move them north, is what happened to District 2. And they got, there's always that margin. So I'm going to use a round number. This number means nothing. But if we're all supposed to represent in 2010, 4,000 people, and there's a 10% variance, District 2 got at the bottom of that 10%. And now we're doing it again, and District 2 is way out of whack. They're representing 3,900 people, and you've got 5,000. Okay? Unfortunately, the 2 big adjustments are going to happen in 2 and 5. There's nothing we can do about it. And the best thing we can do is get that close as possible to we're all representing the same number.
Absolutely.
Not taking another district and getting them down at that 10%. I don't care where you want it. Now, when I looked at that map that was proposed, I'm 100% against not representing my mailbox, okay? My mailbox is not in my district.
I know, I'm
If I got a
close to
problem
that
with my
too.
mailbox, I gotta go to James.
I'm in the same,
I'm like that,
I'm
okay?
in the same position.
One mailbox. But that's not a political thing. I can't go across the street and say, well, I know I got strong supporters over there and I don't believe that. That has nothing to do with that.
No, you don't agree with me.
I've never been that type of public servant, but you know, I do think we need to represent our neighbors. You're going far east. I know that's not your neighbors, but we're all gonna have to go east. You gotta go east, you gotta go east. You can't take you and go north.
No, I'm losing everything. I'm not
And, you
gaining
know,
anything.
it's-
The bottom
it just don't
line
make no
is,
sense.
and I can't use a county road right now because this is not open, right?
think I got
For me
the
to
whole
use
west
a road name.
Okay, let's go east.
Because Friendship Road
Trying to work out
considers
the
himself
trade.
Auburn. They do. If you talk to every person on Friendship Road, they say,
Road there is.
I live in
That's what I
Auburn.
tried to do.
My kids go to school in Auburn.
Yeah,
They were gonna take a Kingsport.
Okay,
Weekend.
I'm just-
yeah, as I said, any concerns you have, please email myself and them. And then this is really not a discussion we need to make at this point. And
Okay.
I appreciate it. Is there any other new business? If not, I'm going to make a motion, we go into, or request that we go into executive session, KRS 61.8101B, deliberation on future acquisition of sales of realty, of acquisition or sale of realty property, and KRS 61.8101F, discussion hearings which might lead to appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee. Thank you all for joining us.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
All right, thank you for staying with us. Next up is a post agenda.
Did somebody make a motion?
I made a motion to come out.
Jason
Jason
seconded, and all in
seconded.
favor.
We all voted yes.
Post agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to allow the judge to purchase the property on West 3rd Street, available property on West 3rd Street, contingent upon, let's see, we need inspection, survey, and
Appraisal.
appraisal.
And any other specs that in the KRS?
Yes.
Any of the
As long as we're
requirements from KRS for us
I
purchasing.
second that. I think this is a great step forward.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
All right, I have a motion and a second.
Did I steal your thunder?
If I don't have any other discussion, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. With that being said, if there's nothing else on the post agenda, entertain a motion for adjournment.
Post.
Oh, post. Sorry.
Can we go ahead and get permission to advertise for vehicles for the next budget coming up now, or does that have to start after July?
The budget passed, so I don't see any reason why we couldn't go ahead and advertise as long as the purchase happened in July.
Yeah, I mean, for the next quarter.
Just don't spend it.
Yeah, we just can't spend it. Yeah, I don't see any reason
I
why
just
we
want to
couldn't.
get approval to send out advertising bids for vehicles.
1, 2, 3.
Can we just do a blanket?
Yeah, it's just a blanket.
Can we just do a blanket for the county to do that?
I'm looking at multiple options, either one new one and maybe some Missouri Highway Patrol cars that are, 56,000 miles or a little bit cheaper to use for either upgrading some SRO school resource cars or spares in the fleet. So I'm kind of trying to balance. I can get more out of the buck type thing. So if I can just get it to approve the advertising, then when I get that done, I'll come forward with what I'm trying to get.
Awesome.
Okay, make a motion to
More bang for the
put out advertisement for police cruiser vehicles. Specs provided by sheriff.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
I do have one small thing that we need to probably discuss, is that, being as that our contract is ending with Humane Society in this month, and we're going to be taking over the bills, electrical, water, and any of the bills pertaining to the building that we own, with our temporary agreement we have with Humane Society, as we had this bridge moment to where we're transitioning into a new relationship, to where we're just doing a month to month, $10,000 a month, right, Jason? But I think whatever the bills are every month, say if it's 1,000, we need to deduct that from that 10,000.
Excuse me, what's the $10,000 a month? I'm not voting for that.
You did.
No, y'all said to temporary allow him, y'all didn't ask for no money transfer for
Yeah,
that.
to keep the contract as going on without animal control after July 1st. Yeah, that was it.
So we're paying them the same money and they don't have the animal control
But I
office.
think they're saying we're basically gonna continue
Until
the
then.
arrangements that are in that contract, extend it by a month because Steve doesn't have an SRO, or not SRO.
Yeah, we don't have
an
an
ACO
SRO.
yet while they continue to try and get that hammered out.
What do you think what are we going to do between now and the time we're taking over?
And my fault for not paying attention. I thought y'all were just saying that y'all were gonna allow the Humane Society to utilize the building until they can do something different. I didn't know we were paying them $10,000.
If we don't have an animal
I
control.
agree with you. That's the way I took it
Yeah,
too.
nobody ever told me we were paying them $10,000 a month.
I thought we were just
I'm not in
gonna
favor of
share.
that.
I thought we were sharing.
Y'all gonna have to show me that motion.
I think that's how the motion reads. I don't think it includes anything about contributing.
I've never, ever heard anything about paying them $10,000 a month past this month. Never.
And that's fine with me too, I just thought that's what.
But it won't be fine with me though. So we'll have to figure something out, because we still don't have an animal control officer.
Well, that's our problem, and we'll handle it, you know.
But as of July 1st, there's no animal control unless the Humane Society does it, and we're still prepared to do animal control until that gap's filled. And so nothing would change.
I think what Jason's saying is we need a contingency plan in the meantime.
I thought that's what we had.
Well,
I don't remember, I'd have to look at it.
I sort of came away from it, I guess, probably thinking we would have somebody employed by July 1st, but we were basically letting the Humane Society continue to be stationed there, and we were going to share. That's how I took what you made the motion at that meeting. But I agree. We never said anything about.
But we can't expect them to continue doing the same job they're doing right now in the month of July, and just end it all. I mean, eventually we're going to end it all.
But
the
they
funding.
need some sort of contingency.
We got to have a bridge gap there. I mean, what are we going to do?
This is not a bridge that we can cross without funding, and the county is not in the animal business. I mean, we cannot go 1 month without funding and run the shelter as it is, and that's what's going to happen in July. There ain't going to be no changes in July, not unless miraculously we hire an animal control officer tomorrow and they start Monday.
I guess the question is, in the time that we don't have an officer employed, but like once we have that employed, I don't think it's the desire to keep paying
I think you have to do it through the county first.
No, I mean, the end result is going to be that we're not going to have the same contract we have today with
at least 30 million.
Humane Society. We've already decided that. But there's a transition phase that we're not prepared for.
No, we're not. There's not.
It's just a simple fact. I mean, if we don't have a transition phase to where we have a temporary agreement, then we're going to be in real big trouble.
I mean, I thought that's why we did the temporary agreement, because, I mean, July 1st, there's going to be 60 dogs out there, and if the Humane Society, those are actually no longer the Humane Society's property. No longer have to feed them, no longer have to water them, no longer have to clean up after them. And
we don't have an ACO to ship it somewhere else. So there's a transition phase now. I mean,
my thought was that was going to be that this was going to be possible. Yeah, I guess if we didn't get one, but I guess from my perspective, there wasn't an agreement that that's what the motion was. So it might be wise, if that's what your desires are, to at least make that motion to extend it, and then you all can actually discuss whether you want to do that or not. I know you're going to have one no vote for sure, but I mean, it's going to need a new motion for what the plan is. But I'll also say I don't think Steve is going to be equipped to take that over Saturday.
With a regular deputy.
I mean, even if he got he's not ready to hire a control officer.
I think we just, my personal opinion, and all, Jason, you might want to make the motion, but just say the month of July. And then if we're still in the same spot we are in the month of August, then we'll have to say August. I don't want to say 3 months. I don't want to say until infinity and beyond. Let's just make it per month until we get this transition phase over.
And with that said, I mean, Steve, are we actively looking to hire somebody today?
Well, I mean, I've kind of slowly talked to some people, but there's a good ability.
And I'm pretty sure our motion.
But I think we need to send it out to the county employees first.
That we continue
because it's a county
job.
Contract. So we might get somebody that
basis. We might have
wants to do it because it is a pretty good
contract
rate. I mean, I've talked to one guy that's probably 60 plus interested in doing it. There's another guy that might be interested in doing it.
Or at least that's my approach.
It still takes. It would take a month.
It would take a month for you to get that person.
I think we got.
That's not even a guarantee.
Yeah, we don't have choice.
That is actually.
But at least you have to go back to the original thing.
Okay, Steve says he has somebody that might be willing and able to do it in a month, but he has no guarantee.
Now,
has it been
I think
now of our names?
Let's just hope for that.
They've been making utility bills until this point, and then we're gonna take that over, and then I think we need to go ahead and start that transition, you know what I'm
So,
saying?
yeah, we can go ahead and
Because
minus.
if he has somebody he's already talked to, he's already had two he's been looking at.
I think we don't really have a choice.
You know, the conversation I remember is we asked Steve, come July 1, would he be able to answer the dog calls through current staff at the sheriff's department until a full-time animal control officer could be hired? And the answer was yes. So I don't know why we're paying.
I don't remember that.
Not with my current staff, I'd have to take a road technician and go get the truck and go sit there. It's not impossible.
I don't either.
I want you to go back and watch some YouTube videos. I'm telling you.
No,
His motion, I don't remember the motion including that we were gonna pay money. I'm right there with you, Thomas, on that, but I don't see that we got a choice.
well, here's my motion, and y'all can agree with it or not. My motion is to continue our current contract on a month-to-month basis until we have a full-time ACO officer. And then at that point, our contribution, whatever we do, will have to be negotiated, whatever we decide.
Minus utility costs, because we're gonna take over those bills.
Minus utility costs.
Reasonable.
Did you get that?
Once that's final, I think they're still in the process of working with utilities, but. Right. Because the humane society is paying utilities now, but as far as this transition phase, also includes us taking ownership of the utilities for the building, which are not cheap. You know, you got electric, it's a lot, you got water, that's a lot of money, so I mean, you know, I don't wanna be stuck with $2,000 in utility bills and still paying them 10 grand for 30 days. I really just kinda hope that we just do on a 30-day notice and not a month to month.
I agree.
I don't think nothing's gonna change in 30 days. You may prove me wrong.
Well, then why don't we change if you don't mind, then why don't we change the motion to say
change
1 month, at which time, if we still have not got it resolved, we can relook at it.
Well, that's basically, I guess, what he did.
I think
Well, he
the-
said
I'm gonna keep
month.
mine at a month
The
to month.
second meeting in
Because
July,
I don't see nothing
you would
changing in
need
30
something.
days. But now I see in 45 to 60 days, I see an ACO officer hired, but I don't see it happening in 30 days.
Well,
You definitely gotta get on that, but,
Jason,
now the motion did include utilities.
minus utilities,
Minus
because they are in the
utilities.
process of getting those
The
transferred
Humane Society will still do ACO.
until we take it over.
Okay.
I would,
That was just, that was one of my, I was gonna make sure that they were still ACO.
Well, I mean, they're trying to still do ACO
Do-
the same as they.
Do they have someone respond, do they have someone out there who is responding? That's my big question.
give me a second.
Because that seems to be the biggest complaint I get, is that they are not going on these calls.
Well, I just have to make that clear that on this.
If they're gonna continue to do this, I would appreciate if it'd be contingent on they remain ACO and they actually answer
In
calls.
order to get full
do
funding,
that.
yeah, I mean, we have to keep doing the responsibilities
I
that
thought
the
that
previous
they was
contract.
continuing to do.
They have been, I mean,
The current contract don't end until June 30th anyway, you know.
right, yeah, no, that's not been, the only thing that's changed out there is they've limited, customer or, citizen drop-off. They've kind of limited that and tried to
Get the numbers down.
get the numbers
Because their
down.
employments went down, they went from
Yeah.
8
To 5.
I thought it was 3 now.
No, it's still at 5.
And I don't have a problem with anything that's wrote here. I just want to make sure that they understand that they are still animal control and that when they are called, they have to go on those
Did you
calls.
say you had calls that,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, thank
Well,
you.
that's
I
the
wasn't trying to be
reason
difficult.
we're in this situation we are, is because
Yes.
animal control's not being
Yes,
done.
exactly,
That's what
because the
I was
animal
gonna say.
control
We
side of
probably
it.
need to
would
hear
like
what
better.
you
Yes,
said.
yes, ma'am.
The sooner we get someone hired, the better.
And,
then we
and I
can
agree,
continue this
it probably
transition
won't be
to
done in 30 days.
take care of
But I don't like the
all
openness
this
of the
ourselves.
month to month, because I don't feel like the motivation is
It's
gonna
not.
be, to
On
be
the
there.
court side, the motivation's not.
And that's why I'd rather take
Yeah.
this up every month if we have to.
Until it's settled.
We can come back a meeting next month, and if we're seeing that we don't have anybody, any prospects being hired, we'll say, okay, let's extend it another 30 days. That way it's still on our minds and we don't just let it keep going the way it's going. I agree with Chris just to do it, extend the contract for 30 days.
You want to amend
We can just let that motion die and then you can make.
The new one.
You've already had a motion in a second.
You already had a motion and a second on that one.
Or you'd have to
I thought
amend
your
your
motion
motion.
I mean-
was for 1 month.
I thought it was month to month. I actually thought he said month
I
to
mean,
month.
everything's fine except the month to
Month to
month.
month is open-ended.
Well, you're absolutely right.
No motion was just
You're
a
absolutely right, yeah, absolutely.
So can I make a motion to amend?
I'd have to.
He has to because it's.
I mean, I'll make a motion to amend it for 30 to, instead of month to month, to 30 days. My same motion.
31 days.
For how many? For 31 days.
And I'll still second that motion.
Hannah, you got that
Laugh, Joe.
motion?
We gotta look at that positive.
All right, I think we've got it. Is there any further discussion before we roll out of this? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
No.
Baker.
Yes. All right, is there anything else on post agenda?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you all.
Good.